Hey guys, this is like the 8th attempt at this video. It was either I didn't have enough memory on my phone and I had to go through and delete like 500 pictures, or my phone would die, and I talked for like 8 minutes and then my phone died and I was like, oh, it's gonna save the video. No. Fucking Apple. If I have to interrupt at any point and tell Emery to go to sleep, we share a bedroom, so it's kind of difficult to get any privacy in this house. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know, give my trigger warning. This video could be a little graphic to anybody that's been through rape or molestation, especially if you were a child. This kind of deals a lot with that. Any sort of abuse, mental illness, suicide attempts, anything like that. If that kind of thing bothers you, you probably shouldn't watch. However, if you are feeling alone and that you feel like nobody else has been through what you've been through, maybe you should give it a listen, and I'd be more than willing to talk to you. You can message me on Tumblr. It's emotionalkerosene.tumblr.com, or message me here on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, whatever. Like, I'm more than willing to help in any way that I can. It was brought to my attention, more so today than most days. I get called immature a lot. I'll start off by saying I'm 20 years old. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and you can do the math there. I was very young having a child, and that's been very difficult. And I'm not trying to play the victim. I brought that on myself, of course. But I'm so glad that Emery's here, and I don't know what I'd do without her. I'm gonna take my glasses off because they're like glaring. Oh no, I can't see. Never mind. Okay. I get called a bitch a lot. Yeah, I am a bitch. Allow me to explain why. The whole 13 years my parents were married, they divorced and remarried each other 4 times and separated like 10 times, forcing my sister and I to have to get readjusted in new schools and new places and new states every single time. And a lot of the times we got lucky and we'd go to one school for a while, go to another school, and then we'd go back to a school where we knew people. But at the same time, as a kid, when people think you're gonna move, they don't really get like close or attached. And me and Lacey knew better than to make a lot of friends because we knew it wasn't gonna last very long. My dad was physically and mentally abusive to my mother, which forcibly led to their final divorce when I was 11 or 12. I think I was about 12. After their final divorce, my dad went absolutely batshit crazy. He was already crazy, but I mean, it just got so much worse at that point in time. Both of, like me and my sister, because of all the moves and having to hear mom and dad fight all the time, like, we had a decent childhood. You know, we ate, we were clothed, we lived in decent houses or apartments. Everything was fine in that aspect, but we never did have any sort of stability or a good foundation for what a healthy marriage should look like. We never ever saw my parents healthily married or happy with one another. At the age of 12, my dad molested me. He did not rape me, he molested me. There's a huge difference. I'm not Google, you can look that up if you don't know the difference. I didn't really understand what was going on at the time, and I never did say anything to anybody. People know now, a very small amount of people. And he never got in trouble for it, because by the time I said anything to anybody that actually mattered, it was too late. That's what CPS said. I don't really see how it can be too late, but that's West Virginia for you. Let's see. My dad was physically abusive to my sister and I. He didn't beat us. He didn't leave any marks because he knew what he was doing. He knew that if he didn't show any proof, nobody would believe us because he was very personable. I mean, he was very charismatic and he was really good at making people like him. So nobody ever really understood what Lacey and I had to go through in our childhood. He was more so mentally abusive, and it was detrimental to mine and my sister's mental health. Both me and my sister have mental illnesses. I don't really want to disclose hers because that's her business, but I'm more than happy to tell you I suffer from the second type of bipolar disorder, which means it's not like Jekyll and Hyde, like I'm going to switch off really quick. It means I can function in society and, keep a job, go to school, do those kinds of things, put on a smile, but it's inside is where I'm feeling these terrible feelings. And it's really hard for people to understand. I'm also a manic depressive. That plus the bipolar disorder does cause me to snap sometimes, and it's more of an angry manner. I tend to be very bitter at the world, as you might imagine. I've been raped twice, and I'm not going to get into what constitutes rape other than the fact that if it is unwanted sex and you said no, that's rape. That's all there is to it. Yes, I was drunk. That doesn't make it my fault. We're raised in a society that blames the victim and not the rapist. I'm not going to get into an argument about it, so don't even try. That happened around, I was like 14 or 15. It's when I first started experimenting with alcohol and that kind of thing. I met Emery's father when I was 15 at a scuzzy tattoo shop. And I should have known better, but I was a stupid teenager. And we've all been there. We've all done it. And I'm so thankful Emery's here because without her, I wouldn't have really any reason to be here. Because I haven't really had any confidence in myself up until recently. He was physically and mentally abusive. Bad. So bad. But just like my dad, he never left marks. Just mental marks. Therefore, there was no proof. And he was also very charismatic. But he looks like a pud. He looks absolutely ridiculous. And people know now what a piece of shit he is. And I don't have to explain myself. Like, people just know when I say his name, they're like, oh, yeah. However, he brought me the most beautiful thing I have. So, for that, I can thank him. It's been a difficult journey. Right around the end of mine and his relationship, before my mom and I finally were able to get away, because we were terrified of him and we had to actually move and not disclose our location to get away. There's been a lot of 911 calls. I had to get a DVP on him, that sort of thing. Trying to remember. I'm drawing a blank. I realized at that point in time that there was something very, very wrong inside my head. I knew that I was suffering and I didn't understand what the problem was. And that's when I was diagnosed. I've been on medication for years. And, towards the end of mine and his relationship, before me and Mom moved out, I tried to commit suicide, which people, didn't believe. I mean, I have the scar to prove it, and you can't really see it, because it's healing. I mean, it's healed, it's gone, because I was, almost 18 when that happened. So, there's been points in time where I truly felt like I couldn't make it, and I couldn't deal with what was going on in my head. And people don't seem to understand that when people go through those types of problems, like traumatic issues, that it truly affects the way you think and the way you think about yourself. You can't trust anybody. You have social anxieties. You don't want to get close to people because you feel like you're going to be jerked away. And that is difficult. I've finally learned to love myself and realize that I'm trying really hard. I have very high ambitions. I'm going to a community college right now to get my paralegal degree, and then after I've done that for a while, I plan to go to law school. Because with that type of experience, any law school will be like, yeah, you've been a paralegal for 5 years? Come on in. And I try really hard. I make good grades. And I'm doing the best I can for me and Emery both. So, if you've been through any similar situations, you're more than willing to talk to me. Or just watch this and know that there are people that have been through the same thing. And you are not alone. You are loved, even if it's by somebody that's never met you. I am grateful that I've learned through all this. It's still damning to me. I still suffer a lot. And it sucks that I don't really have much support. People tend to laugh. Or like the other day, I was subtweeted and told to jump off a bridge. Because apparently my sad tweets are annoying. If you don't like it, unfollow me. But don't tell me to go kill myself. I'm a human being, same as you. And we all deserve life. We all deserve respect, and we all deserve love. That's what we need. And even if we're not that close, or haven't met at all, we all just need to love each other as brothers and sisters. We all share this earth. We all share the same air. We all have to, we don't necessarily have to, but it's best that we get along and do the best we can. And have some empathy. Understand that you're not the only one that may have gone through problems, so don't blame the world. Because it's not. Who put you through it is who you should blame. And do your best to try to love yourself and do positive things. Keep yourself busy. And outreach, like people like me, I'm more than willing to talk or help anybody that needs it. Keep your head up, because it will get better. And as time goes on, I know I'm going to succeed. I know I'm going to do great things, and nobody can tell me otherwise. So, sorry. Yeah, I may seem immature, and I may be a bitch. But if having ambition and dreams and getting through so many traumatic experiences at such a young age makes me a bitch, then I am the biggest bitch. And I'm proud of who I am. And I'm thankful that I've learned from these experiences. And hopefully I can instill in Emery great morals and values and self-respect so that she knows to never let anybody treat her the way I've let people treat me. Things will get better. People will change. And you have to be here. You've got to make it. You can't give up. Because one day, things are going to get better for you. Because they're getting better for me. And God knows I've felt like things were never going to look up. So stay hopeful. And if you ever need anybody, I'm more than willing to help. Thank you all so much for listening. And if this hasn't bothered anybody or triggered anybody, I hope that you feel like you're less alone.